Hello there and welcome to this week's edition of TSAtv Newsdesk from the people at TheSixthAxis.com, bringing you all the news from the world of gaming for the week ending December 15th, 2013. The Christmas break may be just around the corner, but there's one last event of the year, the VGX show that replaces the old Spike Video Game Awards. Announced at the show were two new titles from the Walking Dead and Sam & Max developers Telltale Games, based on fantasy TV show Game of Thrones and Gearbox's Borderlands game series. Also new is Joe Danger Team Hello Games' new exploration game No Man's Sky, and the long-rumoured next-gen version of this year's Tomb Raider reboot. Titled the Definitive Edition, it's due on PS4 and Xbox One on January 31st, alongside a Game of the Year edition of the game on current-gen consoles that similarly bundles all the extra content to date. There's also the addition of Elijah Wood to the voice cast of Double Fine's Broken Age, and a release date for Wii U's Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is due on February 21st. Away from VGX, the announcements are starting for 2015's lineup of games. Stealth-focused survival horror Kodoku is on the way for PS4 and Vita from Japanese indie team Carnivore Studios, while Namco Bandai are aiming for a simultaneous global release for Tales' 20th anniversary title Tales of Zestiria on PS3. Arriving a little earlier is Pure Pool, coming to PS4 from Hustle Kings and Pure Chess team VooFoo Studios, while artwork and screenshots have leaked ahead of Creative Assembly's new Alien game, Isolation. In terms of already announced games, the first off-screen shot of Sleeping Dogs follow-up Triad Wars has been tweeted by developers United Front Games, and The Elder Scrolls Online will be hitting PC on April 4th, 2014, ahead of a PS4 and Xbox One release in June. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes will arrive on current and next gen on March 18th, with a Raiden starring Xbox exclusive mission joining the already announced Deja Vu level on PS3 and PS4. Fable Anniversary is due on Xbox 360 on February 7th, the PS4 version of Awesome Noughts is unlikely to make it onto PSN before next year, and Cut the Rope 2 is dropping for iOS next week on December 19th, with an Android release not far behind. In terms of industry news, the remainder of Blockbuster stores in the UK are confirmed to be closing, while Ghostbusters game and Kinect Star Wars developers Terminal Reality have also shut down. Sony has filed patents for two new PS4 peripherals, an updated version of the Move motion controller with a touch-sensitive surface and a head-mounted display. And Amazon UK has begun listing PlayStation Network content for the very first time. On the Xbox side of things, rumours suggest that the planned Tier 2 wave of international releases for the Xbox One may be delayed to late summer, while the console's first-party launch titles have inexplicably had their prices raised by £5 each on the Xbox Game Store. Elsewhere, Little Big Planet 2 and its Vita sibling are to receive content based on DC Comics properties. The first screenshot has been released from SOCOM's spiritual successor H-Hour, while up to 3 PSPs or Vitas can now be activated on one PSN account. Pokemon cloud service Pokemon Bank is due to launch on December 27th, with the first month of the service being free before a $5 a year subscription fee kicks in. And if you've had your eye on downloadable fighter Skullgirls, it might be worth picking it up sooner rather than later. A split between the game's co-publishers Autumn Games and Konami means the game could leave download stores on December 17th. Autumn intends to get the game back available on PSN and Xbox Live as soon as possible, and while Sony have suggested players will not need to repurchase the new version, what will happen to the online servers in the interim is unclear, as this appears to be the first ever example of this kind of issue. Chart time, and the top 3 are holding steady. Call of Duty Ghosts remains at number 1, with FIFA 14 at number 2 for another week, and Battlefield 4 is also still at number 3. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is up 1 to number 4, and Grand Theft Auto 5 is up 2 to this week's number 5. The week's only new release is PS3 exclusive Gran Turismo 6, arriving at number 8 and managing only a fifth of the week 1 sales of predecessor GT5. Last week's PS4 launch titles all see a drop, with Killzone Shadowfall down 5 to number 9 and Knack also down 5 to number 18. While Wii U's Super Mario 3D World drops 6 to this week's number 20. The new Vita bundles appear to be doing well though, with Tearaway up 8 this week to number 31, and last year's Little Big Planet Vita re-entering the top 40 at number 38. That's it for this week's show, aside from the usual couple of last bits and bobs. The mobile version of GTA San Andreas is out now, while a new update for GTA 5 has added a test version of the game's user-generated content tools. There are new firmware updates for the Xbox One, PS4, Vita and 3DS, with the latter adding support for Nintendo's Miiverse community tools to the handheld. while hefty updates are also available for PS4's Contrast and Warframe, and the Music Unlimited app on Vita can now run in the background. Sony has announced the PlayStation Plus goodies subscribers can look forward to in the coming weeks, with the PS3 getting Borderlands 2 and DMC, and Vita gets Soul Sacrifice and BlazBlue Continuum Shift Extend on Christmas Eve, while PS4 owners can grab Don't Starve when it releases on January 8th. For more on everything in this week's show, as well as all the trailers from the VGX show, head over to TheSixthAxis.com and give us a follow on Twitter or a like on Facebook to get the news as it happens. Newsdesk will be taking a bit of a break now over the festive period before returning in the new year, but be sure to keep it tuned to TheSixthAxis.com for some extra special content in the meantime. Until next time, thanks for watching.